Hey, Alex,
How are you, brother?
thank you for joining me on the podcast today. I'm so pleased to have you here. We recently met at the Dream Hacker premiere. I've been looking at some of your stuff. You're up to some really exciting things. You're involved with lots of independent films. So Alex, tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Well, so currently at the moment, we've got a massive premiere coming up for one of the independent films that we've worked with an amazing company called CD Productions. They're kind of like a film family. The guy who owns CD Productions, his name is Craig David Dowsett.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy who played Winnie the Pooh in Blood and Honey.
Yeah, quite a bit. That was quite a big horror moment, wasn't it?
Mate, I mean, it was a pivotal moment. I mean, when Disney released the rights for Winnie the Pooh,
Mm-hmm.
the production company obviously must have been sitting on this for quite some time. And to turn the iconic character of Winnie the Pooh into a bloodthirsty creature,
Yeah.
I mean, wow, what a thing.
And they did that really quick. It was very overnight, wasn't it? It was like as soon as the rights were released, they were on it.
Literally jumped on it straight away. So you got to respect their hustle massively.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so we're working on a project called Bigfoot Primal Fear. We finalised it. We've got now the very first screening, which is going to be taking place on the 14th of February. We're going to be having that. I believe you're going to be joining us as well.
Yeah. I believe so. The premiere is on the 14th of February.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so we're going to be sitting down enjoying
What a nice
lovely
romantic
horror.
treat.
Exactly. The missus is going to love it.
So what's your role within this film then?
So I play a character called Blake. Basically, the synopsis and the idea of this project is 4 friends. Basically, my good friend Sam identifies that myself and my partner in the project, our relationship's on the rocks. We live a very bougie lifestyle. Genuinely wouldn't really go to the woods. The missus would probably twist my arm for us to go round to like a bloody spa kind of thing. Anyway, so he twists our arm to go round to the woods. We go, why not go into the woods? And all of a sudden, we are then greeted by this mythological creature who's been lurking in the woods, and he's got a thirst for human blood. So we're then trying to navigate that, whilst at the same time, myself and Maddie, who plays my partner in the project, played by Charlene Aldridge, we're trying to navigate rebuilding our relationship without any distractions, any outside distractions, phones, any of that stuff. So, it's quite a hell of a project to be a part of, to be honest with you. So it's quite something special.
Yeah. How does that feel to be a lead role in a project like this? That it's going to have this premiere. It's going to get quite a bit of buzz and attention as well. When you're at this point in your acting career, that must feel quite good.
It feels really, really good. I mean, at the end of the day, we've been stuck in the trenches for years. I mean, decided on embarking on this journey back into the creative origins. I stem from music many, many years ago. That was where the creative heart kind of stemmed from. Life then starts lifing as it does. And about 7 years ago, I full circled and decided to come back to the creative industries. Came in as an extra. Wound up on Fast and Furious 9. Again, with no expectation, because never walking into this world, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I got a full English breakfast in the morning.
It's nice, isn't it? When you're on
mate,
set.
I'm winning. Anything on top of that's a crucial
Yeah.
bonus, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I was kind of thrust very quickly into this industry. I was graced with a feature, with dialogue. Unfortunately, the camera, regardless how comfortable or confident you think you are, it picks up all the unsubtle tones in which that you don't even realise you're displaying.
Yeah.
You can never lie to the camera.
No.
So the feature made it, unfortunately, dialogue section didn't. Then
This happened to me a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, honestly. So then we reflect back, and all of this was kind of happening around 2019, towards the tail end of the year, to which then finished that job. And then again, I was asked by another talent agency as an extra or supporting artist, if you will, to attend another location up in Millham. This was 3 weeks away from Christmas. The project was called Righteous Villains by another independent film company. It's Saints and Savages, amazing director, Sav DeMichael. I've actually done 2 films with him since, and there's something on in the back burner that we're going to be working on again, which is going to be amazing to be back with my East London family. Anyway, I was there merely as just an extra or a supporting artist, and then a circumstance presented itself where I wound up going into town. Uh, a man was walking towards me. Logic builds backstories. He had a little pot in his hand with all these teapots, and I'm thinking maybe he's getting the locals a cup of tea. Here I am trying to get a bit of food. There's a Chinese just over there. I says to him, "Yeah, mate, where's the cash point round here?" He said, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "Why not? You're from round here, ain't you?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, what are you doing here?" He says, "I'm a director. I'm making a film." So anyway, we started having an interaction. The vibe was great. The energy was amazing. He brings me to the set, shows me what was going on. And during all this time, the food's getting cold.
Mhm.
So I said, "Look, mate, I appreciate your time, your energy, your patience and everything, but I've got to get the food back to the caravan." So we go back, and then the following day, the POC for this talent agency that I was under, they get a call from Sav. And he says, "Oh, the tasty fella with all the tattoos. I want him to self-tape." And again, I mean, very similar to when they said dialogue in Fast and Furious 9. I had no idea the wordology.
Mhm.
But thankfully for me, there was just great energy in my caravan. One green-eyed monster could have derailed the whole train, right?
Mhm.
So one guy's over there getting lighting, the other one's doing this, and I'm sitting there like, "What's a self-tape?"
Beautiful.
No idea.
Yeah.
And anyway, so then they broke it all down to me, and then I'm sitting there and being a normal fella from the real world, it's like, well, how do I bring what's on that piece of paper to life? So here I am. We all wear a suit. We pronounce our P's and Q's appropriately when we're in a job interview.
Mhm.
I says, that's acting. So ultimately, I'm going to bring this guy to life the same way I do in a job interview when I secure a job and then the real Alex comes to the table.
Yeah,
Wind up losing the job 9 times out of 10. So anyway, yeah, so then I delivered the audition, the self-tape. Next minute, I'm then being thrust into a green room. No idea the etiquette, no idea what's going on. I walk in there, I see this geezer. His name's Steve Brand. Played Memnon in Scorpion King, Dwayne Johnson's one of
Mhm.
his very first films. It's my very first fangirl moment. I walked in, I'm like, "Fuck me, mate, you're that geezer." Not knowing the etiquette
Yeah.
of the room, you know. Everyone's looked at me like, "Oh, who's he? What's he doing here?" You know, kind of that kind of vibe. So I've read the room, read the energy, and then obviously acted accordingly. Next minute, I've got the likes of Steve Brand, who's a massive Hollywood actor, turning around. Bearing in mind, this is my second job in the industry. Turning around and asking me for my artistic input, how to best serve this scene and the character. I won't lie to you, my arsehole's going under the surface, but you know, we got the swan effect going on. So there we go. I then bring that character to life, Felix in Righteous Villains, and that was kind of the start of the journey moving into acting. Obviously, now we've been in the game for about 7 years coming up. We've done multiple supporting roles as supporting cast, and I've done a couple of short film leads. So now to be at the point in which that I'm getting quite a lot of lead roles is such a gratifying and an amazing feeling.
Mhm.
Ultimately, obviously, as I said, when I embarked on this journey, there was no expectation. I only ever wanted to get into it for legacy. So I wanted to leave something tangible, credible, inspirational behind when I come to leave this physical plane of existence.
Mhm.
I've left a legacy. More importantly, part of that legacy is the inspiration for other people to show that regardless of where you come from, whatever life has thrown at you, never give up on your dreams.
There's definitely something in that as well, that going into something, not knowing too much, that thing where you've gone into a room and you don't know the etiquette. I believe that gives you so much more power than what we're taught, what we're told, that you have to learn everything, that we have to know everything, that we have to play by the rules all the time.
Massively.
You know, especially within this entertainment industry, we're told there's things you have to do. There's ways that you have to speak, that you have to present yourself. But all of those things take away from who
The
you are.
essence of you, right?
Mm.
Exactly that. So ultimately, there was no. I hadn't been molded, I hadn't been shaped into something that an industry wanted me to be.
Mm.
I was my true authentic self.
I love hearing that because when I was doing acting, that was my background, was trying to do trying to do an actor, trying to be an
Yeah,
actor I was trying to do that for 20 years, and I tried to fit into every box I was told I needed to fit into.
yeah.
I tried to mold myself and be this thing that
You
every bit of
thought they wanted you to
yeah,
be.
every bit of advice that came to me, I adapted myself to be that, and
Yeah,
it never worked for me. Not once did that work for me. The moments that did work for me were similar to what you were saying. Those moments where I just spoke to someone.
yeah.
I had a very similar lucky break where I sat down. I was an extra on a job, and at lunchtime, I just sat down at the table. I was eating my lunch, and I was just talking normally to the guy that was sitting next to me. Little did I know that he was the director of the shoot, and
Wow.
little did I know that he was doing a casting the next day that I was perfect for the lead role for an
Oh, wow.
advert for Sony.
Brilliant.
And it was literally the next day, he was like, "I'm doing a casting tomorrow, but I don't want to cast this now. I just want you to come along."
Oh, wow.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And that was through me being myself.
Authentic self.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
every time I went into the room as an audition and did the things that I was told to do, that I was supposed to do, never worked.
I
Not
think
once.
it's the prefabricated ideal of what you think that they expect.
Mm,
And ultimately, I was watching this audition technique video the other day. A gentleman said something that aligns very similarly to what I'm saying. And ultimately, don't give them what you think that they want. Give them who you are.
mm,
Give them you, you know? They've already seen your material. They've built a level of expectation. If you're not matching that and aligning to what your previous work profile showcases,
mm.
you're just trying to tick the boxes for them, and they don't want that.
No.
As a casting director, they want to be able to see the vision of you being that character, but having the authentic layer of yourself. So
That's the bit that
yeah,
no one else can replicate. That's
no,
the bit where there's no competition.
100%,
Do you
a
know what I
hundred
mean? Do you
percent,
know that's the bit where if
yeah,
you're told you're not right for the part, that's true as well. It isn't right for you.
of course, of course. I mean, uh, the amount of auditions that we have to do,
Hmm.
as you know yourself, 20 years within the game, ultimately, you could think it's a personal thing when you don't get a job, but the fundamental principle is what's meant for you in life will never pass you, and what isn't meant for you is meant for somebody else,
Yeah.
and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. No, I strongly believe that that was 20 years of experience that I needed to build up. None of them jobs that I applied for that I didn't get were for that. Them jobs weren't for me. It was to apply for them jobs and not get them. That was the role I had to play at that time. That
Yeah,
was what I needed to do to be where I am now. Now that I do feel like I'm in a space that I'm meant to be in, that I
yeah.
do feel like I'm in a space where things are working out for me. The shift has happened only because I went through all those times of it not working out.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I think as well, having the drive, the ambition, the motivation to be all you can be as
Hmm.
well. I mean, ultimately, I mean, not only am I an actor, but I've also done producing, directing, casting talent, and
Hmm.
also managing talent. So for about 2 years, I focused on when God or life doesn't give you opportunity, create it.
Hmm.
So I was very blessed and grateful. There was a gentleman from the USA called Wayne de Burdett. He's my business partner. We co-own Moonless Media, which is a cross-Atlantic production company. Um, Prior to that, again, I was part of two affiliated groups. One, the Candler Creatives by Dan Candler, and another one called Spat UK, which basically offered jobs for people who can replicate and simulate holding firearms and weapons and screen combat to a basic level.
Hmm.
They're not quite stunt operatives, but they're kind of in that
Hmm.
remit. And when we all came together as a bunch of creative, amazing people, we just came together to help each other. And on one occasion, if you want to give it an official title, I was down as a location manager. I'm infamous in my local area, so I can get quite a lot done.
Hmm.
And two guys wanted to put together a show reel for a fight scene.
Hmm.
I sourced the location for this. to which on the day in question, and this is how me as a producer and director manifested itself. But manifesting is just dreaming without two practical elements:
No.
taking action
I'm
and
a
doing the
strong
work.
believer that life comes from you, not at you. And
100%.
so I do believe in manifestation. It has definitely worked for me, but there is also a pivot point. There's a choice, isn't there? That you
100%.
can sit there and wish and dream all day, but if you don't get up out of your chair and do something about that wish, it
Exactly.
ain't just coming at you.
It's just a dream, mate. It's
Mm,
just a dream. So, I mean, think it, believe it, take action, do the fucking work. Excuse my language.
yeah.
Receive the blessing. And that can be practically attached to anything that you want to achieve and accomplish, whether it's just getting out of bed in the morning.
Mhm.
So, you can manifest anything you want, but manifesting, again, as we just touched on, is just dreaming without the practical elements of taking action and doing the
Mm.
work. So, here we are, we're in this situation. We've got two guys. We've got a camera guy. We've got myself, camera two, and I was on my way to the location on the day in question. And another gentleman in our remit, in our circle, he reached out and he's like, "Man, it's so amazing to see you doing so well, but I feel disconnected." And might be a big, horrible looking fella, but I'm soft and mushy inside. You know what I mean? So I turned around and says to him, I said, "Well, what are you doing today?" He says, "Nothing." I said, "Yes, you are." He says, "What am I doing?" I says, "We're making a film today." So with nothing other than my phone and
Mhm.
just a can-do brain and a location and two cameras,
Mhm.
I've then started to build these character names and then started to build a small story. And we had a location that had two locations within it. So we had like a dark, dingy basement, and then we had a bar on top of it. So I factored in the story centralized around the locations and what we could bring to life within this. So we then turned this around in a 24 hours, and we had a 5 minute short film off the back of just an idea and
Yeah.
taking the practical steps. To which then we turned that into what is now a 30 minute short film. Off the back of that, then started to push forward, doing more projects. I've done another short film, An Eye for an Eye. Another project, we've done a proof of concept for a TV game show. Went all the way up to Gloucestershire, brought some amazing talent to the table. And that's also something that was delivered as well. So I think it's all about you just, I I mean, you'll find your place in life as to whatever subsection of industry. I mean, some people are born to be astronauts, some people are born to be scientists. I believe I kind of found my path. I'm in my later years of life.
Yeah.
I'm 42 years old. I've been doing this for 7 years. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you will find what's right for you somewhere along this journey of life, you know. And yeah, I mean, you just got to keep pushing forward. And it's just having that can do attitude and ability to push through and see through a lot of the noise, you know.
What a great example of like this snowball effect that taking action can have. That you get up one day and you film a short film and it goes on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and everything that's building from that moment of just taking that action that one day of getting these two cameras and coming up with a short story.
It's amazing. I mean, now we've also got a award-winning movie poster on IMDb for one of the projects that we put together, sourced and brought together an amazing creative team, a photographer, special effects, makeup artists. I mean, it's about the connective ability to connect everybody together. I mean, everybody's looking to get ahead.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, with the oversaturation of every subsection of industry in today's world, we just need to kind of support each other. But navigating that space can be a challenge. But you've got to make the mistakes to realize who are the right people and the right energies,
Mm.
because it's all about energy and frequency and light. So ultimately, obviously, I've worked with some people, the name who shall not be named. There's one person who knows exactly what I'm
Right.
talking about,
Okay.
but we'll leave it there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So someone like that then, but we're not going to name names, but someone like that then, how, so the way that you're talking about them, they're a more negative light to the creative process.
100%.
How's that affected things for you then?
Affected me, not at all.
Mhm.
But ultimately, in the initial stage, affected projects, affected some of the talent. I mean, it's about, like I said, the connective nature of people. The alignment with the vision all has to align in seeing the same vision. I mean, if you're secretly got a vision of your own whilst at the same time working as a collective, you're not for the team, you're for
Mm.
yourself. So remove the selfish narrative and focus on the team element, because the team is what makes all of this come together.
Yeah, you
One,
can't do any of I don't we're not in this life alone. We
no,
can't do any of it alone.
we are so connected with everything in life, without going too airy fairy and
Yeah, no,
hippie-fied,
no,
but
I think it's important. I think there's a
yeah,
huge attachment. Having lived a creative life, I think there's a huge attachment with the airy fairy, with the mystical, with the spiritual,
100%,
and
100%.
the work that we're putting out into the world. And I think that modern modern way of like living, the modern way of that we've been taught to work, the current way society is currently structured, is all quite. I find it quite selfish
Oh,
and all
massively,
self-involved. But I find that everything works better when we come away from self than when
massively.
we go to when we go to others. When we build on community, when we work on projects without a purpose other than the project itself.
100%, 100%. And also gracing other people with great opportunities and trying
Mhm.
to uplift and inspire other people. So, I mean, when you're in this space, and as you know, as an actor for 20 years yourself, quite a lot of actors are sofa surfing and having other jobs and trying to literally navigate life,
Yeah.
circumstance can be a challenge.
Mhm.
So ultimately, if you're in a position where you could offer someone a great opportunity whose dream and ambition is to do that thing,
Mm,
you'd be doing the world an injustice if you kept it all to yourself. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, I mean, but again, navigating that space, you are going to run into wrong energies. I mean, I use this eulogy: square pieces don't fit in round holes. But you've got to come across a square piece to identify if it's a square piece or a round piece.
Yeah.
So you have to make mistakes, being the people, the names who should not be named, in order to learn from it.
Yeah,
You know,
100%, 100%. I've worked with people that yeah, I had to go through that process of people warned me about a particular person.
yeah,
They said to me, "Whatever you do, don't work with this person." I'd known them beforehand on like a personal level, and things were fine. And so I was like, "I'm sure it'll be fine for me as well if I work for them." But when I did, I saw what everyone else saw and what everyone else warned me against.
100.
And there's something to that when people talk, it's not just it's not just rumors. It's
No,
not just if something of if people have got something negative to say against someone, there is
there'll be
often
a why.
there'll be a
There'll,
why
there'll
to
be a
that.
reason.
Mm.
Yeah,
And for
massively.
me, it was with that person, it was because everything for them came down to money.
Yeah.
Everything.
I mean, we're in a passion driven industry.
Mm.
We do this because we love it. The money is a byproduct of the passion. So, I mean, and do excuse me for interjecting there, but ultimately, those people, never wish them ill will, never wish them bad luck. Just know that they're not for you. They're
Yeah.
not for your team. You know. But again, in another subsection of industry, when I used to be a personal trainer, I was genuinely there to help people because fitness saved my life. Going through some of the traumatic events that happened in my life, I turned to fitness, and being a spiritual man, having a human experience, whilst we're here having that human experience, some of what we're defined by is a pool of chemicals.
Hmm.
So I guess I was off balance as a result of the trauma, to which fitness absolutely saved my life. So then when I went back at 26 and re-educated myself and became a personal trainer, being the oldest boy in the room, but who cares?
Hmm.
Because I'm there to give what fitness gave me to other people. So when I then stepped into the gym setting, having a massive amount of confidence and a lot of self-belief, obviously,
You got to have an element of that
oh,
though as well, haven't
massively,
you? Because other people are
massively.
going to knock you back anyway.
Oh, of course. I mean,
You know.
as you know, we got to have skin like rhinos. That's from the acting stuff. But I think the confidence and everything that's forged in the making of that makes you you gives you that confidence, gives you that self belief. And when the cup overfloweth, fill another cup. You know, don't just wipe it up and mop it about, and just focus on your cup.
Hmm.
Fill up another cup. So I would go over and interject while someone was completing an exercise. Ask them, "Are you open to the idea of help?" if they then are open to that, then I will deliver something amazing for them and then walk away because genuinely I want to help you. And as a direct result, the byproduct of the passion, I became the most successful PT within 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because I genuinely wanted to help. So if you're chasing money, what's it doing? It's running away from you. So in essence,
Yeah.
you're chasing after something that you're not going to get
Mm.
because it's already away from you. So change the narrative and do something that is passion driven, in which that then will generate the passive income because you're not in it for the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see money as a flowing stream, and it's interesting you say about filling up your cup, and then when your cup's overflowing, what are you going to do with that cup? Are you just going to mop it up, or are you going to share it with others? I kind of have that flowing water thing with money all the time, and it's about guiding that flowing water
Oh,
in the
100%.
right direction.
Yeah. Are we using the eulogy as flowing water as money?
I guess
Doing
so.
the
Yeah,
right things with
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, I'm just coming up with things as I say it. Sometimes
God
I
bless
watch
you.
these back and I'm like,
Yeah.
I talk some bullshit. I talk some
So do
absolute
I,
crap.
mate.
But I just say, as things kind of come to me, I just say them.
Yeah. No, of course.
You know.
Of course. Yeah, I do think ultimately, obviously, and then going back to obviously where we were at and where I'm at currently with my acting career and with my journey, there's been pitfalls, there's been lessons, there's been obstacles, and there will be more,
Mm.
you know, and I'm not foolhardy to think that there won't be, but ultimately, I mean, the blood, sweat, and tears and the relationships that have been forged and built and the connectivity that's happened, it's just so beautiful because now, I mean, again, moving into a bit of a spiritual element here, I mean, we've just come from the year of the snake, which is all
Yeah.
about shedding, right? And now we're in the year of the horse. So shedding all of those negative attributes and those negative habits that you might have had, and then allowing the horse to move you forward. And ultimately, this year already, I've already done 6 projects already. We've only just moved into February. There's other things that I can't discuss at the minute.
Exciting things on the horizon.
Massively.
And that tends to happen when you shed the negativity.
Oh,
The future, as soon as you get rid of that, it's funny you say about the year of the snake, because I've seen a lot of this online as well about the snake. It clears your path for you. I feel like last year I had a lot of failures. A lot of things that had previously been working out okay for me stopped working out. Like I said, I was telling you before we press record that I do a lot of theatre shows, and I did some theatre shows that I lost a lot of money on last year, and they didn't work out through no fault of my own. It was almost like I didn't see it at the time, but the universe was clearing a path. It was
100%.
saying to me,
Yeah.
the theatre stuff is behind you now.
Yeah.
That's not you. You haven't got the time for that.
It's
People as
almost
well.
like universe, God, whatever is the divine power that's more than us is showing you or
Mm.
trying to show you.
Yeah, we don't have to listen.
No, exactly. I mean, there was a couple of things that happened most recently to me as well. I mean, obviously I'm an actor. I've not hit the pinnacle of where I want to be. And when I do, there'll be another pinnacle that I want to reach. But obviously, I mean, now we're living in a world 2026. Everything's oversaturated. You have to have another job if you've not hit the pinnacle of acting. Because obviously the jobs and the financial element of it nowadays, since streamings came about, and you're not a top tier A-lister actor,
No.
you've still got to pay your bills. So you've got to go out and go earn normal money with a job. I like to call it.
Yeah. Job.
A job. And yeah, and ultimately, I mean, God, the universe was telling me something in the most recent coming weeks, in which that I had to shed in order for myself to move forward. And when I shed the element of skin that I no longer needed, there was all of these signals and signs showing me and lighting up the path for me.
How do you know when the path is being lit up for you? How do you know to listen to it? Because I've had these signals and signs, and often I've ignored them.
Well, this is exactly it. So it's down to your openness and your willingness to identify these signs and symbols. I mean, because 9 times out of 10 we could brush it off and just think, oh, it's coincidence. But there's no such thing in life as a coincidence. Everything is the divine power of the universe. everything happens for a reason.
Mm.
So it's just about our cognitive ability to recognize these things.
Yeah.
But again, I think when we're distracted, when we're not aligned with who we are, we won't see the signs
Mm.
because we're not aligned within ourselves. So we're kind of a little bit lost in relation to where we want to go
Mhm.
if we haven't got everything aligned.
For me, signs have come to a point of being so clear that there's a particular sign that I'm looking for now, and I do get the sign at particular moments as well. Like they're pivot points in my life,
Yeah.
and it started on day one of doing this podcast.
Okay.
I stepped out of my car, and on the
Excuse me.
floor was a playing card with a
Yeah.
joker, half
Okay.
burnt.
Yeah.
Was this joker? And since I've been doing this, I find playing cards everywhere. And if you look into like the meanings of different playing cards,
Okay.
they say something.
Right.
And
I'm into numerology,
okay,
and I'm big into numerology,
hmm
not into playing card
yep,
recognition and definition. I'd love to hear a bit more about that.
yeah. So for instance, the Joker, you think the Joker, oh, that's a kind of like about playing, but actually the Joker card is a representation of being adaptable to change,
Okay.
to new things. And literally, I find that Joker card on day one
Did
of
the
doing this.
burning element of the card symbolize something as
I
well, or do
I
you think
take
that that
well, I
was
haven't.
letting go of the old you?
Yeah, I've never asked anyone else
Yeah.
what these cards could mean, so I take my own interpretation, and I think the burntness of this original card was there was a version of me prior to doing this that was struggling in life,
Yeah.
that was really going through a hard time, that was I felt like death was following me around.
Bless you.
I felt like it was on my shoulder. I couldn't. I had a 2 3 year period where I look back now and I go I was depressed.
Yeah.
I couldn't recognize it at the time. I was
Bless your
struggling
heart.
with things at home. My wife was going through chemotherapy. It looked like she was going to die. My dog was dying as well. Was getting really old. My kids were having a hard time. Like my whole everything that I felt that was good in my world was falling apart,
Yeah.
and not necessarily through any fault of my own. It was like I felt like the world was kind of against me,
Yeah.
and yeah, and my career, my doing the acting, I was hitting my head against the brick wall with that. It just wasn't working, and I had this moment of pausing. I had
Yeah.
this moment of I was. It's amazing as I look back how lucky I was, but I had this moment of a friend of mine went to Australia for 3 months, and I got to stay in his house
Okay.
whilst he went away,
And you had that
and I had
space.
that space to just like how many people get that opportunity in life?
Not many.
Not like, and I had this. I had this opportunity to just rest for a moment,
Yeah.
and in that rest, I decided to change everything, my whole outlook, and yeah, and start
I
a
think the
new
peace
career.
inside you kind of allowed you to find yourself
Mm,
and re-find yourself
yeah,
again. And then the path then lit its way.
yeah, and like I say, and
Followed.
the path lit its way with these signs,
What
and
happened with the family situational elements?
yeah, well, it's not.
Kids' health started to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back
So
up
things.
and
Yeah. So my wife's health's got better.
beautiful.
She's still got cancer,
God bless.
but it's not at that point of the doctor saying this is 6 months away. That kind of thing.
And
My
just how
children.
you react to
It's how you
situations as
react to
well.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's how you deal with it. And I was and I was trying my best with all of it. And you know, bringing up teenagers is
It's
hard.
not easy.
It's not.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily an easy teenager, and I don't think anyone is. Um, and so yeah, trying to bring them up through that hard period as well. I did my best with that, but they're young adults now, and with my kids, I feel like I'm still their parent, but I also have this element of feeling like we're friends,
Yeah.
like that they
The
share
perspective
things
and
with
the
me.
relationship dynamics
The,
change.
yeah, because we've
Yeah.
got through that hard time, we
Yeah.
got through that hard moment, and we're still here for each other.
God bless you.
And so yeah, I see signs. I collect these cards now.
Yeah.
When I'm walking somewhere.
How much of a full deck have you got?
Well, see, this is the thing. I've got about 13 or 14 cards now.
Okay.
And I'm kind of wondering, like, is my journey the the full deck?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I have collected. I've got a couple of them that are the same cards. So I'm like, what does that mean if they're the same? Is it like the repeating the pattern thing?
Yeah.
But there was one big moment in my podcasting journey where I had this desire to go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival,
Okay.
and this was 2 years ago now, and I couldn't financially afford to get myself there. And I just put some things out online saying, this is a dream that I have. This is what I want to do. Could you buy me a coffee? And I'd set up one of these buy me a coffee pages. And all of my social media following, previous guests on the podcast, paid me money to go on this journey to the
Oh, that
Edinburgh
is such a
Fringe.
blessing.
Paid for everything that I needed to
Yeah.
go there, to stay there, to eat, to have my coffees. The day before I go, I found a collection of like 5 cards on the floor as I'm carrying my suitcase home from the shop that I bought this new suitcase with. And it was all about, this is a shifting moment. That's how I read these cards. This is where you'll change. This is where you'll find yourself. And I really felt like I found myself there as well.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah. And it's taking those signs and reading them and going, oh,
Acknowledging it.
acknowledging it.
Acknowledging it.
And you don't
Yeah.
have to do anything with it.
I think it depends on where we're at as well. I mean, thank you so much for sharing so much personal stuff. I'm going to do the same. So when growing up, I come from a wholesome background, full family unit. Unfortunately, it was the early 90s. Men would just had to be strong, you know. There
Yeah.
was this kind of ethos on men. I'm strong, I'm hard.
Mhm.
Don't share my problems.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I believe my father suffered with mental health. And unfortunately, when he was 33, he took his own life, to which I was only 9 years old.
Wow.
So I didn't understand the difference between life or death. I mean, Mum just said, Dad's gone he's driving a lorry somewhere. He'll be back soon. Anyway, to which then emotionally came out in me in my teen years, which came out in a very negative way. Which I'm so sorry to anybody or anything or anyone that has done something naughty to. To which then I then managed to deal with that trauma, deal with that grief.
I guess that's what you're looking for at that point in your life. You're looking for a way to deal with something as big as that, and you just
Massive.
don't know where to start, do
I
you?
mean, no, and it's all relative and subjective to where we are and where we are as a person, in our mental maturity and our ability to process emotion. To which then my brother, unfortunately at 21, also suffered massively with mental health. We had to get him sectioned. He suffered with psychosis and schizophrenia, to which unfortunately led him to take his life in exactly the same way my father did. I've got a book coming out by the end of this year. My life's been one hell of a journey. Everybody's got a story to tell, right?
Yeah, that's why I do this.
Exactly. So, so I mean, off the back of all of that, and then when my brother Rocky, Wesley Garcia, may eternally rest in power, took his own life, it took me quite a long time to navigate that because I also wound up homeless for 2 years and was living in the YMCA, doing some naughty stuff, but survival was key.
I was going to say that the naughty stuff is often, just trying to get through,
Pretty
just
much.
trying to live, just
And
trying.
again, didn't even have time to process, So all of this grief, all of this trauma, all of this life stuff that happened, I wasn't able to process until then I got graced with a beautiful home, and then I met my beautiful queen that I've been with for 14 years. And I guess it was almost like I was in a pretty dark, bloody place at that point in time in life. And then, she was like the physical essence of an angel to come and pull me out of the dark, like, genuinely. And at that point was my pivot point where my life completely shifted. And then I was able to process and deal with all this trauma, deal with all of this. Sorry, mate, we got some body stuff going on.
Yeah.
Was able to deal with this trauma and able to deal with this grief. And I had a support, which is massive. We need support as people.
We're going back to we need other people. We can't do
Connective.
this alone.
No. So then here I am, and then that's when the transformative nature of becoming a personal trainer, bettering myself, constantly adapting and becoming better. And my dear old mum, God bless her, had to raise two very unruly young boys, all on her own. And bearing in mind it's the early 90s, she wasn't a working woman. She didn't even know how to drive a bloody car.
Mhm.
So I had to completely transform all of her life. And yeah, it was a challenge for her, but ultimately she constantly showed me that you can always evolve and transform yourself and become the best version of yourself. And she kept doing it time and time again. Albeit said, had two kids, had a job, was going to uni. I mean, wow, what an inspirational, powerful woman, you know, which is why I'm with the woman that I'm with right now. Because she replicates and simulates
Wow.
quite a lot of what mum had. And then I guess somewhere along the journey, when again I said about legacy, I was just sitting there watching a Western film, and I'm like, man, um, this guy must have been dead and buried about 50 years ago, but yet here he is alive today in this plane of existence on my telly. That's how I'm gonna live forever. So again, with nothing else other than self belief and a lot of self confidence, found the door, walked through it, came through as my authentic self.
Mhm.
And here I am 7 years later sitting here having this lovely conversation with you.
What do you think that is with that seeing someone on TV, someone on a film that's from the past that no longer exists, that resonates with us now, that wants us to replicate that? Because I had that as well. If I'm truly honest, I think that's why I wanted to be an actor,
Yeah.
to live forever,
Yeah. To
to
have my family name
mm,
echo throughout the ages.
yeah. And I don't think maybe there's an element of ego in there with that, but I don't think that that's all ego.
I think it's more wholesome. I think there's something very pure about your why. You know, you're not chasing fame, you're not chasing money, you're not chasing vanity. You're looking to leave something here
Mhm.
of yourself when you leave. And I think that's what it was all about for me. And maybe because of the authentic nature of my why and the authentic nature of me is why I've managed to achieve what I've managed to accomplish thus far,
Mhm.
with looking to attain so much more.
Tell me a little bit about the legacy then that you hope to leave. Then, what does that look like? Because
Well,
I speak to a lot of people at the moment, and the world looks like quite a dark place.
yeah.
You know, there's a lot of bad things going on. We're seeing so much happening in so many different directions around the world, and
So
it is hard for a
what I'd
lot.
really like my story and my legacy to embody is hope, courage, um, inspiration, motivation to commit yourself to a craft, actually commit yourself, your full self to something. And what the world or the universe will give back to you tenfold is phenomenal. And if my story from going through everything that I've endured, albeit said I'm I'm what they'd call a privileged white boy,
Mm,
obviously been born in the UK,
yeah.
had a roof over my head, running water,
Mhm.
hot water, food. That's a privilege that not many people have.
No.
So yeah, I mean, just on the basic humanistic level, yeah, I just want my story to touch someone, to inspire them, to motivate them to be more. So if that's my legacy, that's all I could dream for.
Mm. So in this world, well, in this conversation, we've touched on how important it is to make action.
Oh yeah.
So how would you make this world? How would you make your legacy combined and make this a better place for all of us?
Oh wow.
That's
So
a big one, isn't it?
that's huge. That's huge. So I mean, when we touched on and I came into this space, this beautiful space that you have, we touched on the community element, back to community.
Mhm.
So I mean, if I could at some point, I mean, obviously I've given so much of what I can give back to so many other people, whether it be a camera operator, a first AD, stunt performer, gracing someone with a lead role in a short film project.
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's all about giving back something. And just those little things that I've managed to achieve and accomplish matter more to me than anything else in the world, because I gave someone an opportunity when every other door was closed, you know. And that's beautiful, man. You know? So, I mean, if I can deliver more, and again, I would love to, there was elements where I would have loved to have hosted a charity which can encompass, because now the youth centres have all closed down. There's no spaces for the youngsters today to hang around that have positive influences and role models to steer them in the right way. And obviously, with the state of the UK, it's not getting any easier for them, you know. So there was one moment in time that I was trying to seek space and a location. I was looking at doing it in a church, and I was looking at offering a service free to try and tie in with a charity, or create a charity and get lottery funds to bring this into existence and create a creative space for people who wanted to be in front of camera, behind camera, sound operatives, DOPs, stunt coordinators, a space that people could thrive in. Do you know what I mean? And
Why do
taking them
people
away
thrive
from all of
in
that.
that environment? I know I know the answer for this from my experience, but for you, why do you think people thrive
I
when they're being
think
creative?
I think creativity is such an amazing thing, and it provokes so much emotion and feeling and thought and practicality from people. And it's positive. So I mean, it's giving them a positive outlet for them to move forward in life, and also have a community that supports them and encourages them to be the best version of themselves. What is the actual answer?
That sounds like a good one.
Sweet, but is it the answer though?
I don't know. I guess we're just trying to work this out together, aren't we? I guess that, that opportunity for us to find ourselves is we can do that within creativity. We
Massively.
can do that within play.
Yeah.
That's essentially what creativity is. It's an
I
opportunity
mean,
for us.
actors are just cowboys and Indians playing,
Yeah.
like, with kids playing
And
dress
when we
up.
go to the theatre, we call it a play.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing. They're playing and experimenting, and like we've both said that we're both around the same sort of age, and we've had this
We're
journey.
25 for the next 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you've had this journey where actually, if you look back on it, it's all been experimentation
Yes.
to find what you're supposed to be doing, to find where you're comfortable, to find where things work out. And for some people, they never work it out.
Yeah.
But I think you get there quicker through play.
Massively. Massively. But I mean, creativity isn't for everybody, and that's
No.
okay, because ultimately, within the creative space, there are those who play in front of the camera and those who, dare I use the word, work behind the camera. So the ones
But
in
isn't
which,
there creativity within that as well? Isn't there?
100%,
See,
100%.
I think this gets confused sometimes with. I think this gets a lot confused in education. The importance of creativity and merging that into all the other subjects.
But what is education? Education is there for good slaves. It's not there for an entrepreneurship, and it's not there to create creative geniuses and great minds. It's there for you to be programmed to become a good slave for the system. I don't want to go into too much about that.
Well, it's important. There is a system there. Yeah, and I've recently had a teacher on the podcast to talk to him, and I think teachers are
They're up against some challenges
They're
now,
up against some challenges because there is
even more so than when we were in school.
there's a system in place for a reason to create a certain type of society.
Massively.
But I don't necessarily think the current society is working for us, and not going to be working for the next generation either.
I believe we're in a very unique space and time as a people, as one people, the world's people. I believe smoke and mirrors has always been a factor ever since the Roman Empire. So keeping people distracted by wars, by conflicts, by common differences, and keying in and focusing on those elements there. But yeah, we're in a very unique space and time as a world right now. I mean, we've got this technological revolution moving forward, obviously, which is quite scary. You've got the likes of Elon Musk putting into humans right now chips into their necks, I mean, it's really crazy.
It's
Nobody's
sci-fi.
present. It really is. It's
Yeah.
really scary. People who aren't present in a moment. They're so attached to these mobile devices.
Mhm.
Like when we were kids, again, you touched on a word a minute ago, play. We got to play. We got to be dickheads.
Yeah, 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 and
Do you
that's
know what I mean?
important. Yeah,
100%. We
yeah,
got to make mistakes. We got to fall over, cut our knee,
yeah. But it's
you
so
know,
hard for kids to make mistakes now because it's
massively. The
almost it's the
pressure is on them so much. And more importantly, I mean, the outside interaction element is kind of dissipating and it's more online. And with that, they're hiding behind some form of mask or screen or whatever. And quite a lot of what you hear, I mean, I go around to some of my friend's house and he's got his boys in the bedroom and they're playing on their
Mhm.
Call of Duty and the profanities that are coming out of their mouth towards the other people in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game is quite concerning.
Yeah, yeah.
But more importantly, I mean, look at the situation here in the UK. I mean, our police force is down to 70%. Um, I mean, inflation's going up left, right, and centre. What an amazing tax to hide
Mhm.
by blaming the economy
Yeah.
and MPs putting it in their back pocket anyway. But ultimately, all of the pressure that's being put on the people, you're now seeing crime skyrocketing, children playing with machetes in the streets of London.
Mhm.
This is not a world in which that I envisaged 2026 to be, you know.
Mhm.
So we're in a very unique space and time, which is quite concerning. Subsections of industry are literally just oversaturated. Jobs are so challenging to find. I mean, our industry now is on its knees.
Mm.
The combination with what Netflix has done with Warner Brothers and originally saying they're going to have long-standing theatrical releases to then tail it back to only 2 weeks.
Mm.
So we're in a place where there's a lot of but behind from mask comes down, you don't see the reality.
Yeah.
You only see what they want you to see until you're in their pocket,
It's almost like there's a game being played.
and we're the pawns.
I'd like to go back on a few things that we spoke about earlier in the conversation in your journey.
Yep.
Um, but I would like to actually go back to you mentioned earlier that you had creativity in your life when you were younger, that
Yes.
you were into singing.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
how that kind of came about and what
Oh wow.
and how that moment in your life was for you.
Oh man, it was an amazing time. So basically, we're back in 1998. House and garage being kind of like the music of choice
Yes,
for the
yeah, yeah.
UK. My brother, God bless him, he was a DJ.
Mhm.
He would play house and garage, and then I used to MC. To which I was known as MC Risky back in the day, yeah, many moons ago. To which we was on Street FM 94.4,
Nice.
which was a reggae station.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
introduced House and Garage, done a couple of live PAs with DJ EZ, a multitude of different bits and pieces. Then my brother, God bless him, he then went to TVU and became a sound engineer, to which he worked with a gentleman called Andy Whitmore on a tune called Fly Baby Fly. It was his very last song before um, he suffered massively with the mental health aspects. And God bless, there's a moment that will be in the book. And basically, something happened where I had to salvage the computer, to which then I then started producing music. And what I found naturally coming out of me was a tempo of hip hop. So then I started doing kind of spoken word.
Mhm.
And about 2004, I was approached by a representative from Polydor who wanted to sign me. And great, it was what I wanted at the time. But the pressure of everything that I'd gone through, I just wasn't ready for all
Mhm.
of that. So, and more than anything else, I mean, it's something that I shared with my brother. So when he left, I wanted to keep it just our thing.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was personal to the two of you.
Massively.
Did it kind of in a way feel like it wouldn't connect right? It wouldn't feel right on your
I
own?
just didn't want to do it without him.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? We started the journey together. I wanted to finish it together. So And I guess I was suffering at that point myself because I was homeless at the same time, living in the YMCA. So there was the internalization I was going through with trying to process what had just happened. There was the internalization of the circumstantial situation I found myself in. And I got an A&R saying, yeah, sign a contract, mate.
Mhm.
No, you're all
Yeah.
right. So it was all just a bit much for me at the time. But that's where the creative origin kind of stemmed. I mean, even as a kid, man, I was a little joker. I was a little entertainer. I'd pretend I was a model. We'd pretend that we were doing little short films and
Yeah.
stuff on the VHS. It's amazing to look back and see. So I guess there was always this entertainer inside me that was just always there. And I guess, like you said, the signs and signals later on down the line, once I settled, found my peace, and then was able to then move forward again, that the lights all just lit up and there was the path. And it was weird because I was having this epiphany moment at home watching that film. And then when I went back to the gym, because this is when I was a PT, there was an Italian guy there, and he was struggling for clients for about 3 months. And naturally, I'm an empath. I generally want to help people, like from a genuine place. And I reached out to him and I said, "Look, mate, I want to help you. Client agreement forms, pricing structures, mentor in any way, shape, or form. I want to do that free of charge." And he said, "This ain't what I want to do." And I was like, "All right." In my head, I'm like, "Well, 3 months, you ain't getting that time back." But I didn't say that to him. So I said, "So what do you want to do?" And again, another light. He says, "I want to be an actor." I was like, "What?" I didn't tell him what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Have you done anything?" And he says, "I'm an SA." I was like, "What do you mean, an extra?" He's like, yeah. I was like, "Well, even that puts you in a room. Once you're in the room, it's down to you how you navigate that space to, are you going to build authentic connections?" Because again, I mean, when we were teeny boppers and we go to the little teeny bopper raves and you're desperate for a bit of skirt,
Yeah.
you're never getting it because I could smell the desperation on you. I mean, you walk into the room, you feel someone's energy long before physically interacting with them, right?
Mhm.
So you get a sense of, is it genuine or is it forced? So I think, yeah, because I went in the room as my authentic self, that's what shone through.
Things opened up for you.
Yeah, massive.
And that extra work, like I was saying earlier, extra work that gave me a lot of my opportunities through those moments where I wasn't being desperate,
Yeah,
where I was just genuinely sitting down and having lunch with someone. It connected
a human to
to
human
yeah,
conversation,
it
right?
connected to my first real paying acting job. I'd
Yeah,
done other acting jobs before that, but nothing was as big as that one, a Sony advert. And yeah, I think it's actually underrated being an extra and the importance of it. Some actors would say,
that was
Don't
huge.
don't do that. Don't go into that as an industry."
I
Like,
mean, let's look at Brad Pitt, right? Look, everyone in today's world, we're very sensitive people.
yeah,
But ultimately, for example, Brad Pitt, he started as an extra.
yeah,
Yeah, he just threw in two cheeky little lines at the end of his scene.
hmm,
Director gave him a bit of a bollocking, and next minute, that's what made him.
yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio also was an extra. I mean, unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, we're all working class actors.
mhm. Yeah, and we've got to make it ourselves.
We've got to make it happen. And I mean, so many people have gone via the what's the gentleman's name? The new guy who's in Jurassic Park. What was his name?
I haven't seen the latest one.
He's also Guardians of the Galaxy. He plays the lead guy.
Oh, Chris Pratt.
Boom. There you go. He was
Yeah,
also an extra
yeah,
supporting artist. So I mean, the importance of somebody coming up from that route, I think it's like a 90% narrative of
mm,
actors who came through extra route. But the importance of the extras and supporting artists, the scene is dead
mm,
without the filling of the gaps and the filling of the spaces and having all the other moving parts. I mean, I was part of a project, and this is mad. So I was at a point where like I'm not taking any more SA jobs. I'm an actor. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do supporting artist work.
And I think it's okay to have that moment. I've been there,
Of
like,
course,
yeah, because
yeah.
it's hard, it's actually quite hard work, isn't it? It's long days,
Oh,
long hours.
yeah, massive.
Sometimes you don't get paid very well
And you
for
hardly
the
get
work you do.
fed or even a bottle of water
Yeah,
sometimes, which is
sometimes,
like,
yeah, and
come
you're
on,
just literally
common
standing there.
human, basic
Yeah.
things. But yeah, no, anyway, so we were shooting Johnny Irish, which is one of my short films,
Hmm.
was the one that started as the 24-hour project, which we then had a 5 minute. And I needed to pay for some location. And then a job came up with its specific hidden name. To which anyway, then I was like, okay, cool. I could pay for the location if I go do that. And then anyway, then I got confirmed, grace of whatever is the higher power. Then I'm on set, and then there's like about 300 extras. It was Tom Cruise's Dead Reckoning 2,
Right.
to which it was a market scene. Tom's ghost is supposed to be walking through. Now, here's another unfortunate element of being a supporting artist. There's no direction. There's no instruction. They
Hmm.
just expect you to just
Kind of just know.
yeah,
Hmm.
and you can't know.
Yeah.
And these moving parts also need direction. So for 3 hours, the director, Tom, and the DOP are getting very frustrated because they kept trying to get this very simplistic shot, but they couldn't get it because the supporting artists kept getting in the way. So I've then reached out again. Humans are humans. I only put Steve Brand on a pedestal because that was the first time I'd ever been in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there.
Of course, yeah.
Otherwise, after that moment, everyone's an equal.
Hmm.
If you put someone on a pedestal, expect the relationship to continue as they are above you and you are beneath them. So no one is above you and nobody's beneath you. Anyway, so I've gone over, I've said to the director, I said, what are you lot trying to do, mate? And he says, well, we want Tom to wind up in front of the newspaper stand and we want you guys to walk through him as if he's not even there. And I said, all right, sweet, leave it with me. So I went back to all the other guys that were in that little space. I told them the instruction and the movement. They've got it in the first take. The director's come over to me, shook me hand. He says, "What's your name?" It's like, Alex Garcia, mate. He says, "Do you want to share a scene with Tom?" I said, "Yeah, of course I do." So,
And that's a real way of how it works, isn't
oh,
it?
massive, man. So ultimately, obviously, yes, supporting artists are so crucially important. But one of the things for me was the devaluation of the humanistic element from a production team. I mean, the
Hmm.
hierarchy of life is no more apparent than it is in the construct creative industries.
Mm.
I mean, I was on another job for the BBC. I was there to deliver a small supporting cast role, but the BBC, they like to maximize what they can achieve in one day.
Yes, yeah.
So trying to shoot like 32 scenes in one day was very a push. Anyway, I'm there, I'm chilling with the other supporting artists upstairs. So because people are people, you know, there wasn't even, it was over 30 degrees. We was in a multi-story building. The top of the building was boiling hot. They hadn't even provided water. So I've gone down to Tesco's. I bought 24 small bottles of water. Bosh. There you go.
Look
But
after each other.
100%.
Mm.
But yeah, so those kind of factors and the fact of once you've made it to kind of level, not that anything's beneath you, but if you then get seen as an extra heavily featured,
Mhm.
then that's your lane. You're
Yeah.
staying there, you know. No director, no casting director is going to take you seriously as an actor if you're heavily featured in so many films
Mm.
because they want an actor. They don't want a featured supporting artist.
You mentioned earlier about Fast and the Furious as well. Like Fast and the
Yes.
Furious has been a massive franchise,
Oh, mate.
and that was one of your introductions to being an extra. So
Yes.
what was that like on Fast
So
and Furious?
more than just being an extra. So um, I can only imagine what took place behind the scenes.
Mm.
Now, excuse me. So obviously, Fast and Furious was produced towards tail end of 2019. It was in September. Then we had COVID. Then the theatrical release didn't come out, I believe, until 2022. And then what happened was I was contacted again by my agent this time, and I had a small supporting role audition for Fast and Furious 10. Now, again, I can only imagine. Now, I believe what happened was Johnny Lee, who was the director, who was then detached from 10, must have saw something in me that I didn't even know was there to even grace me with that opportunity in the first place on Fast and Furious 9. To then audition in January for Fast and Furious 10, to then get confirmed, and then production wasn't actually going ahead until till September. So here I am, I'm confirmed on this job. I'm waiting till September to deliver the deliverables. And then came a lot of circumstantials related to the moving parts of the production house of Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
So then artistic differences came into play. Johnny Lee then left the franchise. Now then a new director's then come on board. Now imagine, if you will, and again, I can only imagine. And in my opinion, what's happened is, imagine the X Factor table.
Mm-hmm.
You got all
All
of
the
these
pictures
faces,
laid
all
out.
of the pictures there. He's like, right, where are all these lot? I've not seen them in anything. Get them gone. Bring my lot in.
Mm.
So my character got dropped from 2000.
A huge opportunity for you. Like that could
Oh,
have been a turning point for everything. And I can imagine in your mind you're already telling yourself stories of where this is going to go.
oh, of course. I was
Mm.
envisaging, imagining what's going to happen as a direct result. And yeah, I mean, I was quite upset a little bit. But again, it goes back to what's meant for you will never pass you, right? So anyway, so here I am. I contact the agent. I says, this is terrible. To which then they brought me back as just a spat. So I was just there as a kind of feature.
Yeah.
So because they must have felt a little bit of a way about it, they've given me a
Yeah, and there's
character.
already the
taken it
connection
from
there
me.
with the production team.
Exactly. They know the work ethic. They know how you operate. They know
But so
if you're a good
how
worker.
did that feel to you though? To go from that
Um,
opportunity of a career
it
making
was a bit of a
moment
kick in the
to
balls, for the want of a better term.
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm still in the room. So it was still an amazing opportunity. So, I mean, whether you're there as a small part, a big part, if you're there as a runner, whatever the narrative is, it was quite amazing to be a part of it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, but it was to go from having a character cast member to then just being a feature.
Mm.
Yeah, it was what it was. It was what it was.
It's the industry.
Exactly.
It's part of the game, isn't it? That we
Yeah.
have to
And then I
play. And
got in
you
touch with my agent and I said, look, find Johnny Lee, send him my show reel.
yeah.
Anything else he's got going on, I want part of.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the work that you do with the independent films,
Yes.
you must have a little bit of an insight into the way that things like Netflix work and the way that people are engaging with films, and the whole world of that is changing, isn't it?
Massively.
What's
Massively.
your take on that?
So my viewpoint on this whole thing is I was part of, like I told you earlier, you've got to have a job in between.
Mhm.
So I was security at a particular event, and it was for a secret cinema event. Now, we've been holding on to what is the cinema experience for dear life, and ultimately it needs to evolve. Obviously, this can't be centralized around every single film from a practical perspective, but quite a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, horror, these kind of narrative-based films, this would work perfectly for. Now, while our industry is struggling, not only just on the screen, but theatre, this idea would definitely revive and give a massive cash influx
Mhm.
to the industry, I believe. So when I was part of the experience of the Secret Cinema, there was a particular project going on. I don't know if I can mention the name, so I'm not going to. However, what they done is created an immersive experience. So elements of the shows that could be fabricated in real life in a particular space and time,
Mhm.
they'd actually bring these elements to life so that you'd actually immerse yourself into that subsection of that scene. And then you move around the space as though you're moving around the film.
Mm.
and then you're actually becoming part of the film. So whilst now we're living in a new technological revolution where scrolling kind of rules, I mean, we're in the cinema, people are disengaging. Scripts are now being simplified and nailed down in order to factor those elements in. So obviously Netflix has swallowed up Warner Brothers now with the whole 2 week cinema
The theatrical
theatrical
release is
release.
smaller, yeah.
It's smaller. This could definitely still work for them and work for us as a industry. And the revenue that was brought in from Secret Cinema on a weekday, and these would be running for 6 weeks, was 1.6 million on a weekday, and then 3.8 million on a weekend.
Mm.
Now, for 2 weeks, if you're running one of the new fantasy projects and then you've built this actual physical place, it then allows people to be present, engage, and actually reconnect with each other. And because we've become so distant away from humanity, human interaction is no longer in a physical setting anymore.
Mhm.
So, I mean, look, they evolved the cinema to, what is it, IMAX 4K or 4D, I think, where
Yeah,
you sit in a
you got
chair and
got the
you've got all of the
4D
little.
4DX where it
Exactly.
rocks and sprays water at
So
you
they've
and all that.
tried to evolve it, but
Mhm.
they've still kept it sitting in a physical chair,
Mhm.
which again I think is half the problem for the engagement rate and for people to actually be present. For people to engage and actually be present, I think they need to be feeling like they're a part of something.
Right.
And I think if somebody could clock on who's got the money to bring this to life, Secret Cinema or anyone else watching, I think it would be a perfect thing to introduce and to evolve what is the cinema experience, but make it more immersive and make it more personalized around the person. There was two factors that they ran into that were circumstantial. One was centralized around mobile phones. As we know, with working in film,
Mhm.
they have mobile phone boxes, which you give the customer a card,
Yeah.
they put the phone
You
in the
lock your phone
box.
away for the day.
Then the customer can be present, can enjoy that experience to the fullest.
Mhm.
And more importantly, the theatrical elements don't get released on social media. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. So that's kind of my idea on where we need to move as an industry, is to create the immersive element, because cinemas are no longer filling up, which in turn is draining the financial element of our industry. Technology, you've got AI swallowing up what graphic designers would take 6 months to do and doing it
So
in a
we
week.
need, in this moment, we need to be more creative. There
Massively.
was a film that came out last year. I believe it was called the Long Walk.
Okay.
And when you went to the cinema for the Long Walk, there were selected cinemas that had a treadmill,
Okay.
and you walk through the film.
Oh wow. That's
You know,
well. That's creating immersive
yeah.
elements of
So
it.
so whilst you're watching the film, you're watching these people go on this long walk. You're walking alongside of them, and that was the experience. And this experience, everywhere that it played, it sold out in that experience
By giving that little bit extra,
by giving that little bit extra, something that they can't
but
get at
immersive,
home. But
because then they're feeling like they're within the
mhm.
film.
and
And
I
you've touched on it being something centralized around walking,
mhm.
which the narrative and the synopsis of the film was. So hence why they put in the runners.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, if you take that and level it up,
Yeah,
what could be
or
achieved
even
in teens?
even this is sparking my imagination. Even the standing thing takes me back to like Shakespeare's Globe.
Oh come on,
Like
what an experience!
Shakespeare's Globe,
Yeah,
you stand there it's open air. You
yes you
stand
do.
there in the middle. Why can't cinema and the old theatre style merge like that?
Bring the old with the new.
Mm.
100%.
It
I'm
sounds like an
completely in
exciting
agreement.
idea. How do you feel about sharing ideas like that? How do you feel like you've come up with something, a concept there that is potentially worth millions? You
So
know,
I feel absolutely happy as Larry to share that idea, because ultimately, if somebody can replicate it, simulate it, copyright it, take it on board, whatever the narrative is,
Mhm.
we are all going to benefit as a direct result. So again, bringing it back to connectivity. So ultimately, obviously, you might have, and it's about the collective nature of things. I mean, you might have an amazing skill set in one thing, but in order for something to flourish and grow, you need the additional players who have the skill sets in which that you lack. So that's where you have to share a bit of your cake in order for everybody to eat and for us all to succeed. So
I think the core of this conversation comes down to this world is for all of us.
massively. What a way to explain that. 100%, definitely.
Cool. So I want to ask you something quite personal at this point,
Go
and
for
don't feel like you have to answer.
I'm very open, so I'm okay with it.
I wonder if your dad and your brother were here in this moment, seeing the things that you were getting up to, what they would have to say about it.
Oh, mate, I can't speak for them or on their behalf. One part of them is with me. So in this bracelet here, it's a gorgeous little bracelet. Unfortunately, Mum died 4 years ago as well, which was quite challenging to navigate, to which I've only just dealt with the grief. But yeah, so part of Rocky's remains are in this
So he's with
bracelet.
you always.
He's with me always. So in my heart, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and something that death has taught me is death should be celebrated as much as life. It's a transcending. The spirit will never die. How that spirit manifests in your life and how that relationship manifests in your life is just different. You don't get the physical interaction. You don't get to have the cuddle. You don't get to hear their voice on the phone, but you know they're there. And ultimately, I feel that they're the ones lighting my path. They're the ones protecting me. They're the ones keeping me safe because I've done a lot of naughtiness over the years.
They're your angels now.
100%. So not only are they up there protecting me, but part of their energy is transferred into me, which has made me so much stronger when I was able to identify that energy and use it as a positive propeller. But yeah, the physical element of their physical essence is also with me. But what would they say? Man, good question. I hope my dad would be super proud. I hope my brother equally the same, and my mum. When I embarked on a journey, she's like, make sure you got a job. Make sure you got a bloody backup job. I was like, Mum, no.
Be a plumber as well.
No. Exactly. You know what I mean?
It's
Make
not
sure
bad
you got
advice.
something.
It's not
No,
actually
not
bad advice.
And they got your best interest at heart. Your parent never wants to see you struggle. They don't want you to go through hardships that they might have faced, you know? So they'll always try and coerce or teach you or nicely tell you a way to try and just do something that's going to make sure that the bills are paid and the wolf's against the, knocking on the door and you got your mortgage and all the rest of it. But yeah, there's got to be a level of delusion towards moving forward with whatever you want to achieve in your life, because you're going to always have naysayers. You're going to always have haters. You're going to always have the people saying, nah, you can't do that. Or, nah, mate. Nah. Whatever the narrative is, you're always going to have them. Silence the noise. Yeah, believe in yourself. But yeah, going back to the question, they're here and they're smiling with me, man, and they're like, hoorah. Yeah.
So what are you saying to them? Are you saying hoorah back, or have you got
Indeed,
more to say?
Come on, boys, let's go. So yeah, and there's going to be lots and lots more to come. So yeah, I mean,
Well, I look forward to seeing it, Alexander.
God bless you.
This is one of the things I love about doing the podcast, is finding out about your journey, where you've been, and I think it just gives so much power to where you're going as well.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful. I really do appreciate you sharing.
Bro, it's been an amazing experience for me too. Thank you for having me.
No, it's been great. And if anyone has been watching or listening, we appreciate you for joining us. But for one last question, Alexander, if anyone wants to find out more about you, where can we find you?
Oh man, so the website for Moonless Media is available. Anyone can click on that. So we've got the website. I've also got my social media platforms. You just got to reach out, Alexander Garcia Official IG. That's the Instagram handle. And yes, I'm 42. So we still operate in Facebook, boys and girls. Yeah, so you can find me. You're not getting my personal number, no matter how hard you try, all right? It's not happening. But yeah, that's kind of the narrative of how to get in contact.
Wonderful. I'll be sure to add links in the comments below this.
Beautiful. God bless
Wonderful.
you.
Thanks again, Alexander. This has been great.
Come on.
Cheers,
Pleasure and honor.
And thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.